Hello and welcome to Dawn Chorus Writes, a Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction. This is a lyrical one-shot. This is dedicated to Jovia Burke. I hope I'm pronounced that right. She requested one of I Love You by Billie Eilish. So this one's dedicated to her. It was actually... That's a fib. It's not a one-shot, it's a two-parter because I really enjoyed writing it and I realised it was going to be really long. So this is part one. Next week we'll come out with part two, and so I hope you like it. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and thank you very much for all the love with people subscribing. And make sure you comment down below what you think and if you have any recommendations of lyrical one-shots. Okay, enjoy. Bye. Part 1. I Love You. Adrien, chat, POV. Plag, we have an hour before we leave. Adrien placed his phone on the speaker position above the piano and pressed play. Nandy told me to add an extra practice in, so we must have time for a quick run. But I was going to spend the time sorting out my favourite in order of eating on the plane and then bid goodbye to the rest. He rubbed his belly as he flew into his own cupboard. Plag, we are only going for 4 days and New York has cheese there. Adrien called out into the room. Americans don't have cheese like this. Plag let out a muffled groan. You're wasting time. Claws out. He had turned 16 and yet his father still insisted that he go with him on these business trips and then spend most of the time cooped up in the hotel room. So if he had one last chance to be shat for a while and a taste of freedom, he was going to take it. Paris was still tonight and held a slight chill in the air as he felt the autumn frost nipping at his cheeks, leaping through the air. He wasn't going in any particular direction. His feet knew where he was going before his head did. He paused for breath when he heard a distant sob. He wondered if there was a coma victim or someone who was having an awful night. Chat peered around and realised he was close to the school, which meant the bakery and Marinette's balcony. But why should she be upset? He angled himself for a better view of a tiny terrace with the glowing fairy lights draped around the edges, and yet, sure enough, there she was, leaning against her railing and wiping her eyes against her sleeve in her statement jacket. Without thinking it through whether he would intrude, Chat made the last jump and landed next to her, perched on the railing. Hey, kitty. She tried to put on a bright smile and turned to match. Evening, princess. His tone was gentle as he gazed at her glistening eyes. Part of him wanted to reach out to her and embrace her as a friend would do. What brings you out here? She sniffled. I could ask you the same thing. He peered at her a little closer, wondering what was going on inside her head. Oh, but I asked you first, kitty. She tried to give him a warm smile, but it faltered at the edges. It was strange to see this other side of Marinette when she was with Chat, instead of her being all nervous and stumbling over her words like she had done earlier today. I'm stretching out my legs one last time before I head off on a trip. Don't worry, I told Ladybug about it already. He noticed a little smirk appear for a split second before disappearing. Strange. Is there something going on that I'm not aware of? She sounded a little lost in thought. What? Oh, nothing. Just a friend of mine is heading off on a trip too. She pulled her lips into a tight curl, as if biting back her emotions. Is everything alright, princess? Yes. No. She continued to roll her lips. Chat, have you ever done something that you wanted to take back so badly? He lowered himself down so that he was standing beside her, concerned at what could have happened to Marinette. Yes. All you need to do is ask Ladybug. I'm constantly messing up. She let out a genuine chuckle that made his heart a little lighter at hearing it. I'm sure that's not true, kitty. Thanks for saying so. He edged a step closer. What do you think you've done that's so bad that you want to take back and is making you upset? There was a tenderness in his voice that he hadn't expected to show. She took a deep breath, losing the battle with herself to hold back the tears. I told the boy Who's the boy? Adrien, the one you see everywhere. What was I thinking? I'm such a fool. It's not true. Tell me I've been lied to. Crying isn't like you, he muttered, watching her crumble before him. What the hell did I do? She lifted her head up from her arms and gave him a pleading stare that broke his heart. You know, I've never been the type to let someone see right through. I told him I loved him. In one step, he engulfed his arms around her and she didn't protest. In fact, she wrapped her arms tighter around him as if they'd done it before. Maybe won't you take it back and say that you were trying to make him laugh? Nothing has to change today. You didn't mean to say I love you? But I did mean to say I love you. And I don't want to. Still leaning her head against his chest to the point he could smell a shampoo of coconut blend with the usual scent of sugar. What do you mean? When I told him, I don't even think he realized I said it. That it would be such a silly idea of me and... No, princess, I'm sure that's not what he was thinking. Anyone would be lucky to have you loving them. He tried to control the level of his voice and not show the turmoil of emotions that was racing through him at the moment. She leaned her head back from his chest and smiled up. Thank you, Kitty. He brushed his gloved hand across her cheek, smearing the tears into her eyes and jawline. Then he leaned in and kissed her softly on the top of her head, hearing her letting out a sigh. Across the river, the large bells called out for the hour, and he knew he needed to race back before he was noticed and made his father late for the flight. Princess, I'm sorry about everything. I need to go. Sure. She released him and stepped back from him. Even though he was wearing a magic suit, he was suddenly aware of the lack of warmth against his body and arms. Oh, had he been so foolish? Go, Kitty. I'll be fine. Thank you for stopping by. I'll check on you when I come back. I'm sorry again. She nodded her head as if he gave her a half smile before heading off as fast as he could. Up all night on another red eye. I wish we never learnt to fly. Adrien leaned back in his first-class seat with his oversized bodyguard next to him with headphones in. He closed his eyes and instantly saw an image of Marinette 2 hours previously. Maybe we should try to tell ourselves a good lie. Didn't mean to make you cry. Maybe won't you take it back and say you were trying to make him laugh? And nothing has to change today. You didn't mean to say I love you. I love you. And I don't want to. Marinette's words repeated in his mind. What did she mean by that? She loves him, but doesn't want to love him? Oh, the smile that you gave me, even when you felt like dying. Adrien pulled out his phone from his pocket and instantly scrolled past his Ladybug pictures and headed straight to the ones that had his friends in them. His heart ached at Marinette's smile shining through, and that he was the reason she was in tears tonight. Where did he go wrong? He remembered chatting to her, including Ali and Nino in the morning, telling them that he had to head off with his father on a last-minute trip, and would miss the rest of the week at school. At lunchtime, he had a sudden photo shoot because he would have missed one. He didn't see her there. After school? Was that it? He was waiting on the steps looking out for the car when Marinette approached him. He had noticed her cheeks were flushed and held her head low, fumbling over her words and getting them mixed up, which he thought was cute. But what did she say? Adrien, enjoy your... I wanted to say... Yes, Marinette. He had instinctually placed his hand on her shoulder, which caused her to become even more bashful and adorable. Here, I wanted to give you this. She had given him a wrapped blue gift box, taken by surprise. No one gave him gifts without wanting something in return. She had said something else. Crap. I'd forgotten about the gift at the need to become shat. Was that it? No. She had said something afterwards, and yet he had become distracted by the gift. What was it? I love you, and I wanted to keep you warm on your trip. She had said it. She had told him she loved him and gave him a personal gift. Marinette loves him. And what had he done? Noticing the car pulled up, hidden the gift in his school bag and said, "Thanks. See you when I get back." He had said thanks to I love you? No wonder she misread and thought, oh, what the hell did I do? He stood up and pulled his school bag out of the side compartment, and sure enough, there was the gift. His heart panged at the swirl mixture of emotions, guilt, awe, shame, and love. He did. He loved his friendship with Marinette, but he was in love with Ladybug, wasn't he? Adrien opened the box that reminded him of the colour of her bluebell eyes and revealed black material with stripes of neon green and white. It was a strange colour palette to choose from, as if she should give it to Shat. Marinette didn't. No, of course she doesn't know. Otherwise she wouldn't have spilled her heart out to Shat if she knew it was really the guy who hours earlier had unintentionally broken it. He pulled out a beret, and with its flat hat appearance and the line of green with a line of white next to it, it was simple and stunning all at the same time. Underneath was another gift of a similar design, but of a warm scarf. He wrapped it around his neck and was engulfed with a scent of coconut and sugar. It smelled like her. The way she had held him, needed him, loved him. He could be happy being in love with Marinette. If that's what he felt like, wrapped in warmth, and he knew she didn't want him for the fame, their friendship had shown that. She loves him. Him, being a dork, awkward, not sure of social cues, who had given him a lucky charm when he was nervous playing a video game. He placed his hand into his pocket and pulled out the red string and various coloured beads. This gift, her first gift, meant the world to him. But did he love her? Ladybug was just that, Ladybug, not knowing the lady behind the mask. Could he really have a relationship with her? And yet, Marinette could be everything. As Adrien, they could date and fall in love. He was about to put the hat back in their box before Natalie saw it and took it off him for not being part of the brand, but he noticed a card wedged into the bottom. Adrien, just in case I didn't manage to say it, I love you. There is no pressure saying it back. Your friendship is a gift and I would never want to lose, and hope it doesn't change that. But I had to tell you. Since you gave me the umbrella in the rain, You have a special part in my heart of love and friendship. Stay warm on your trip. I knew you were a big fan of Chat Noir, so I hope you liked them. Oh my love, Marinette. Kiss kiss. He read the letter over 4 times at least until he knew it by heart and tucked it away. He put the hat away but kept the scarf on and imagined her arms remaining around him, surrounded in the warmth of her love. Most of the following day he had kept in his bedroom, hidden away in the apartment. What was the point of being there? Instead of a glorious view of Paris, he had one of Central Park from 5th Avenue, but a prison is still a prison. Due to the 6-hour time difference, Adrien FaceTimed Nino at breakfast while he finished school, discovering Marinette hadn't turned up to school, blaming it on a cold. He had hoped Chat might have helped her to feel better, and perhaps the fact that she hadn't needed to face him today. Oh, he thought that she would be happy at not seeing him, not spending time with him. The idea of not being close to her was unbearable to him. How much he could transform into Chat and visit her, check that she was alright, but mostly he wished he knew how he felt. As night descended over the city that never really slept, Adrien made a bold choice, and under unusual process from Plague, he transformed into Chat. As he touched down on the golden leaves scattered amongst the wooded path near the Central Park Zoo, Chat turned back to Adrien. Plague was right. No one could see Chat in New York. What excuse could he give? We fall apart as it gets dark. I'm in your arms in Central Park. Adrien pulled his hat down more securely on his head as he lifted the scarf higher around his neck and chin. He paused in step, hearing the night sounds of the nearby, formerly wild animals, against the earthy smells contrasting against coconut and sugar. Knowing both Ladybug and Marinette would enjoy this moment. The only difference would be Marinette would stay and walk beside him for hours as they talked about the little things in life. He could imagine her leaning her head against his shoulder, wrapping her arms around his. Something he never had or possibly will ever have with Ladybug. Then it hit him. The realization he hadn't wanted to admit to himself, and the impact it would have on everything. There's nothing you could do or say. I can't escape the way I love you. I don't want to, but I love you, Marinette. And what was he going to do about it? Thank you for listening to part 1 of I Love You. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on part 2. That's coming soon. And make sure you smash that like button, show some love back, and share and notify and all of that beautiful things. Okay, I hope you liked it, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.